All right. Welcome. How are you doing? We are here for another episode of Transformed and Renewed. I am your coach, Jerry Thomas Jr., and welcome back. Have a good topic today. Before we dive into it, you see that button on your screen, you see that like and subscribe. Well, I need you to do one thing. I need you to hit that like and subscribe button. This way you stay up to date with the latest content that we have and you are not left out. So if you can do that, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button on your screen. If you don't do it now, I'll just remind you at the end. So if you can, make sure you do that. We got some news at the end, just in terms of updates, but let's get into it. So we're going to be talking about a topic that we haven't discussed often, and that is related to air pollution, quality of your lungs, of your heart, making sure that you're good. And so there is a study that was done, and it investigated to see, does air pollution affect the heart? And so, if you bear with me one second, these are times where I usually like to share some research with you, and we can kind of get into this research so that way you know that it is not just me sharing this information, but you can actually access this because it is publicly accessible, okay? Which means that you do not need any special privileges to access this information. So anyone can. And so I like to, just in case you're not aware of it, I like to share news articles. Articles to me that seem quite interesting, and it can be the difference in saving someone's life. So, again, this is to me one of the more important times of our sessions where we dive into this research. You can share any questions that you have. And then we also see at least what the research shows. And then together we can also see, does this study really confirm or validate a lot? And when I say confirm and validate, sometimes as we look into different studies, they may use a certain number of subjects, which will be denoted by n equals whatever number it is. And sometimes if that number is small, then it's kind of hard to really say this should apply across the board, especially if it's less than 100 or even less than 1,000. Now, if it's like at 10,000, we can probably work with something. So bear with me one second as I share my screen. And again, we'll look at this article together. And again, this is just good information to me. Like I said, you can access this, and I'll tell you the website. It is Science Daily. Have a lot of news articles. Some of it I usually like to follow up on it. Some of it I take a brief look at it, and I'm like, oh, that seems pretty interesting. So we're going to do just that. And again, we're going to also dive into this to this work and actually see what it is discussing. So here it talks about in the headline that even low levels of air quality or air pollution may quietly scar your heart. Now, to me, this is quite interesting, but it actually goes into this brief summary published today, July 3rd, 2025. So it is hot off of the press. So, looking at the summary, it talks about how breathing air pollution, even at levels that many would consider safe, could quietly damage the heart. Okay. And this was a study found by people that showed that more air pollution could show early signs of heart scarring. So this is where your muscle is located in your heart, and it can show that that heart has some scarring on it, which is not good, especially if you're younger, such as if you're in your early 20s, 30s. Then that's not good because if you're exposed to a lot of pollution, that could essentially continue to damage the heart. It said, at least said that the damage showed up in both healthy individuals and people with existing heart conditions, such as people who smoked, uh, as well as people with high blood pressure. So, the more you have a lot of stress in the body, or you introduce stress, such as using any type of tobacco or even smoking products that can also affect the cardiovascular system. This could also lead to heart scarring. Let's scroll down into this research and we'll see that this was published in the radiology journal from NASA, which is or RSNA, excuse me, had that backwards. So this is the Radiological Society of North America. So there was a part here, but we'll see that this was conducted, or at least the study's senior author was Kate Henneman. Hopefully, I'm saying that correctly. Department of Medical Imaging from the University of Toronto and the University Health Network. So it goes through all of that. There was, yeah. So here we just kind of go through some of the details of the articles. This shows that the researchers wanted to evaluate effects of air pollution on both healthy people and those with heart disease. So the study group included, this is the number, 200 healthy controls and then 493 patients with dilated cardiomyopathy. Okay. So this is a disease that makes it difficult for the heart to pump blood. So in total, you have roughly about 694 individuals who participated in this study. 201 healthy controls, and then 493 patients with a existing disease. But its next part was interesting. It says higher long-term exposure to fine particulate air pollution was linked to higher levels of myocardial fibrosis. And when you look up what is myocardial fibrosis, this is essentially where the heart muscles or the arteries in the heart can essentially expand, so they are being damaged. And then they were also looking at in both patients with cardiomyopathy and then the controls. So this was investigating that higher levels of myocardial fibrosis in both groups. It says the largest effects were in women, smokers, and patients with hypertension. So this kind of shows, even though the number, in terms of if you want to apply this across the board, even though the participants that participated in the study, the number is smaller than what many would consider to be an efficient number that would be applicable or validated across the board. It still gives some insight, and I think that this is um, studies like these also can show like, hey, we can build onto that. So this time, if we did about 600 subjects, next time the study number or the participant number could be somewhere 10 times that. So it could be up to 6,000, which would be good. So looking at this information, it also showed that, let's see, that even modest increases in air pollution appear to have measurable effects on the heart. So from their study, at least this is from Dr. Henneman, suggests that air quality may play a significant role in changes to heart structure, potentially setting the stage for future cardiovascular disease. Now, again, this is just from a study. I know that they do have a reference to the article. So clicking on this link, and this is again on Science Daily. But once you click on this link, it will likely take you to the research article where you can really get more into the details of the research. So the introduction, the study design. So they would pretty much break it down by the charts. This article right here is just pretty much an article where it's just giving you the text version, but the research will likely go into different charts, perhaps graphs, and even show if there was any statistical difference or just statistical analysis of the data that they collected. So looking here again, it says that Public measures are needed to further reduce long term air pollution exposure. There have been improvements in air quality over the past decade in both Canada and United States, but we still have a long way to go, which there is still a long way to go. Medical imaging can be used as a tool to understand the environmental effects on the patient's health. As radiologists, we have tremendous opportunity to imaging to identify and quantify some of the health effects of environmental exposures in various organ systems. Excuse me. So again, this was a study done that showed that there was a significance when it came to even low levels of air pollution and how it can actually cause some heart scarring. Now, it may not be as much, but just even a small amount is just it's important when we think about it. So again, if you wanted to access this article, come to Science Daily, and this is pretty much the headline. So if you just type in a couple of words, it will actually populate date today, July 3rd, source radio radiological society of North America. All right. So, kind of looking at a study like this, to me, it's always interesting just because sometimes you can go out into public and you're not aware of just the air quality that you may be exposed to. So sometimes, and I've seen it often to where sometimes people may cut the grass and they may not use any type of air filter or anything that would protect their nose or mouth from breathing in a lot of those particulates that are generated from the grass. So think about it. You have grass, you have the allergens in the grass, you have the dust from the mower that is blowing all of the dust, the grass, and any potential allergens into the air. And so if you're cutting that for however many hours, you are pretty much inhaling that matter into your system. Now your liver as well as your body has to work to filter those residues or those particulates out of your system. Otherwise, it could cause some issues as your blood is being pumped throughout the body. Okay. And so a lot of this may not seem as much of a big deal to many people, but again, the quality of air that you're breathing, especially if there's a lot of physical matter or debris you may not even be aware of, but just breathing that in can cause a lot of issues over time. And even this study, though having a small sample size, is still just good enough to show like, hey, in some of these subjects, we did notice that there were some issues when it comes to air pollution. So just think about it. What have you been exposed to when it comes to air pollution? Do you typically stand behind a car, not on purpose, but sometimes you may stand, by cars, or you may not be aware of, oh, okay, I'm typically outside and the cars are typically on, which they're generating a lot of fumes. Am I inhaling that fume a lot, or am I in a workplace where I have to work inside of a plant or a facility where there's a lot of debris? And so sometimes because I'm so used to it, I'm breathing that in. But how do I know that that is impacting my lungs, my body? Is it causing issues inside of my system? And so these are just some questions, something to keep on your radar in terms of, is the air that I'm breathing, is it healthy? Okay. How is my air quality index? Okay. And these can be as simple as, hey, just getting a breathing test, doing kind of like just some tests on your body to see how healthy is your heart. Okay. These are just simple things that you can do, and they can actually go a long way because think about it. I would rather know, like, hey, there's an issue in my body and we can work on that issue rather than thinking that the air quality that I'm breathing is good, or at least that inside of my blood is clear when there's a lot of debris. And I don't really know, okay, what is that debris? How can I actually reverse that? So hopefully these can be some questions, some ideas that can be on your radar and even can lead you to taking some action that you may not have otherwise considered. So hopefully, again, this article stood out to you. Again, you can navigate to Science Daily and you can just type in a couple of keywords such as air pollution, scar heart, and then the date is July 3rd. So simple as that. Get to this research. At the bottom, you have the link to the full article. And then this will actually just give you more information, especially if you're saying, hey, I want to dig deeper, just want to read. Hey, this gives you access to that. Don't need any special access. It is publicly available. So again, click on that link at the bottom. And again, it will give you some interesting details. So, hey, here you have it. You didn't have to buy nothing. Okay. I'm just giving you all of this information, no charge. Okay. So, hopefully, you enjoyed that. If you did, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button on your screen. And in terms of some news, uh, we have been starting to work with different companies, organizations. So whether you're a church, whether you're a small business, you have a team of two, you have a team of 100. Hey, we can work with you. And so what we're doing is we are providing a free 30 to 45-minute session for organizations. And this is to help with the employees as well as with managers to just give them some tips as well as ideas and just a session on health, especially when it comes to mental health as well as general health. You know, one of the things that I found was that over 60% of individuals who were surveyed reported that they had chronic stress in the workplace. Okay. So that is a big issue. That means that over three-fifths of individuals report chronic stress. That's a high number. And so something has to be done about it. And so that's why I'm doing something. I'm providing a free 30 to 45-minute session. So if you know of any organization, anyone who has been saying, hey, do we can do a lot better when it comes to our employees, when it comes to our wellness, our program, or even our programs that we have in place. Or you may say, we don't have anything, but we would love to understand what we can put into place. Hey, send me a message. You can navigate to our website at robody.org. You'll be just navigating to our booking section and you'll just fill out the information, or you can send me an email directly, and that will be jerry@robody.org. Follow me that way, or you can send me a direct message to this video and we can just follow up. And again, my goal is just making sure that your employees, managers are in the best health that they can be, as well as there are other ideas that I have to share to help, the workplace a great place for the employees and just everybody in general. But if you're not an organization, if you're an individual saying, you know, companies fine, companies does well and all of that, but I'm looking to work on my goals. So yes, we can do that as well. Just navigate to our website, robody.org. Click on that button in the center of your screen to sign up for a one-to-one consultation with myself, and we can get started mapping out what are the steps that we need to take to get you to where you need to go. Simple as that. So we're not going to make it complicated. We're going to start with where you're at, and we're just going to build onto that. And by the end of our sessions, listen, you're going to be able to say, man, we came a long way. Okay. So that's what I want for you. So again, if that is something that you're interested in, whether it's from an individual point or if you are a hiring manager or you own a company and you're saying, hey, we can actually improve a lot, send me a direct message, send me an email, or you can navigate to our website, complete the booking form, and I will follow with you soon. Hey, again, hope that you enjoyed this article. Again, if you need the information to that link, you navigate to Science Daily. Okay. You type in a few keywords like air pollution, scar heart, and it will pull up this article for you. Open access, nothing else needed. Okay. Don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button for me. That way, it just helps the algorithm to notice that I am not, someone that's just sharing false information, but I'm actually legit. Okay. I'm a legit person. This is what I do. So, again, your feedback helps me to reach more people. Okay. So until next time, I hope that you enjoy this video and I will talk with you